Hey everyone, it is Jen here. Today I had a sort of a prompting, not even sort of, it was a prompting to share with you my true story, the big picture of not only what has happened in my life, what brought me to Jesus, but how he has saved me. And many of you don't know this story. Some of you are good friends and friends that have followed me for years, and you only know bits and pieces of my life. But I feel that now that I'm opening, I know now that I'm opening this online ministry, that I need to be completely transparent about my story, about my mistakes, about my choices, about my past and my hardships. And most importantly, I feel like this is necessary. Not only so that I open up this online ministry with a platform and a foundation of Christ, with everything cleansed and exposed and there's nothing hidden, but most importantly, I really feel, I know that this could reach the masses, that somebody is going through exactly the same thing that I'll be sharing with you right now. And the purpose of this video is to help not only let you know that you're not alone, let you know that there are people out there that don't judge, that unconditionally love, that will support you and help you move forward into a brand new life, without the condemnation and the shame. And I don't want you to feel condemned or feel shamed, because that's what I felt. And the only way I was able to get through it was Jesus. And he saved me. He redeemed me. My mind, my heart, my spirit, my soul were completely renewed. My life was completely transformed. Every part of me was completely transformed. And I know sometimes this is really hard to grasp when somebody's sharing this, but it's the truth. And that's why I feel like I'm here to share my story. I am not perfect. I definitely have a long way to go. But I do believe that I am not only on my way, I am spiritually grown to a place where I can share this incredible news with other people about how there is freedom in life, and how you do have a choice on what you think and how you feel, and the emotions you choose to express and decisions you make. Like, not everything is based on what society now has said about our circumstances and our experiences. We do have that availability. God gave us the promise and his word, that we have, we have life in Christ. He came to give us life, and he came so that we would enjoy life and we would have it in abundance, and it would overflow into others. Look up John 10:10, and it's been such a prevalent part of my journey here. But I'm just here truly, hopefully, to reach other people for Christ, to get into their hearts, to let them know they're not alone, that there is a way out, and that no matter if you're still in it now, you're still in that situation, you're still in that circumstance, you're still facing that addiction, you're still living in a way you don't want to live, there is a way out, and there is freedom, and there's truth, and there's light within the darkness. And that is truly what I feel I'm here for, what my online ministry is. I truly feel it's to bring love, unconditional love, to this world, to people who feel judged, who feel condemned, who feel shamed from their past. And I know that every single one of us, in some way, shape, or form, has made a mistake, has sinned. And so we can't really throw a stone at another until we actually look at ourselves and work with God through that. So I'm so thankful God has worked through me. He has stripped me of my pride. He's still working on it. I think we all have our moments. But he's stripped me of my pride. He's humbled me. He's taken all my ickiness and that darkness within me, and he's made it light. He's cleansed me, and now I want that for you. So So here it goes. This is my story, and I pray that somehow it helps you in some way. I grew up with an amazing family. We didn't, have all that much, but my parents did everything they could. They did what they could with what they had and what they knew. My biological dad did not want me at the age of 2. My mom had him divorced. He was an alcoholic and very possessive, and it was just not a good situation for either her or myself. And so my mom and him got divorced when I was, again, 2 years old. And I have this incredible man who is my dad. He's my true dad. He chose to raise me, not by blood, but by choice. He came in and became, a dad in my life when I didn't have one. And I am just so thankful for him, for my mom, who always encourages me, who told me to go for my dreams. And I just love them both so much. My childhood, I didn't know Jesus. I didn't grow up believing. I actually only became a believer about 4 to 5 years ago. And growing up, we prayed. I thought there was God. I just had no idea. And I actually had a really bad experience. I forget what age, I think it was around 12, with some Christian friends. And that basically said my mom was crazy for not raising me Christian, and that because I didn't believe in Jesus, that I'm, not a good person, and all these things. So it really became a really bad situation, and it turned me away from ever opening my heart to that over many years. And what's cool is I'm a Christian now, but we'll go into that later. But that was definitely a hindering to ever opening my heart to, Jesus's love and God restoring my life. But around that age, so at 11, I actually started smoking cigarettes. By 13, I lost my virginity. And by the age of 14, I was doing multiple drugs, drinking, smoking, literally just throwing my life away. And simply because I was so unhappy, and I had dealt with so much depression from, I think it all roots from my real dad never wanting me, my biological dad not wanting me, and feeling so self-conscious and insecure growing up, and being bullied, and kids, of course, not being very nice. But most importantly, I felt this empty space, like I wasn't loved, like there's nothing that could really fill that. I kept going after something that this world and people couldn't give, that men couldn't give. And I think it just put me in a downward spiral of trying to find my value in men and in other people. And so as I went through my teenage years, I not only was partying, doing all those terrible things, I dropped out by the age of 16, moved in with my boyfriend, got a job, was working a full-time job, ended up being abused by that boyfriend at the time, physically and emotionally, and mentally, and it was not a good situation. By any means, and it tore me into pieces. I mean, I was so fragile at that age anyways. I believe that every child during their teenage years it's such a fragile time where we need to grow and we need to learn, especially in God's love, because it can determine what our next steps are for an important part of our life, for the beginning part of our adult life. And I was a mess. I was a complete mess. I gained, I think it was upwards of 40, 50 pounds. I could eat a whole pizza or two to myself. And I was, no matter what, I was fluctuating weight. So I would either starve myself or I would overeat. And each time I was in these seasons, I was just completely unhealthy. And a lot of it, was led by being abused. It was led by making bad decisions and not being happy with who I was in the mirror. And I dealt with all of this by the time I was 18. And as I started coming into an adult, I moved, back to the state where I went to high school at. And, there I really, I really was doing good when I got there, but by the age of 20, I had gotten pregnant. I needed to file bankruptcy. By 21, I had my daughter. I had lost my dog, which is the only, thing I have ever lost in my life, like living thing. I had lost my life by that time, so that was devastating. I had to have, my first child on my own. Her dad came back into my life, and helped me raise her, and but it still was just a struggle. We weren't in love. I had children out of wedlock. It just was a bad situation over those next 8 years. I had my second daughter, and it just was difficult. It was very, very difficult to be in an unhappy relationship, trying to raise a family, simply because of the decisions to just want to feel valued and loved by men. By 27, I was a single mom. And I had gone through so much, and I feel like so many women can relate with this. I had not only been through tons of bad relationships, I had been raped, I had been through so many drugs and just bad decisions. And due to those things, I ended up having 2 abortions by the age of 29. And this was something I really didn't want to share with anyone. And it's something I've been holding on to for so many years. The only person I believe that knows is my mom. And it was hard. It felt like murder. It felt like I made bad decisions. I got pressured into doing something I didn't want to do, and then having to reap the guilt and the shame and the condemnation of those types of decisions. And looking back now, by the age of 30, the things I went through, now I can see why I was so depressed. I can see why I always worried. I can see why my mind was a complete mess, why my life was a complete mess, why every relationship I had with a man was ruined and would fall apart. And I just did not know who I was. I had no idea. I was lost. I was broken. I was tired. I kept striving harder and harder to make a better life for myself. I had built a business from scratch, and I made $1 million in 5 years, going from basically poverty and almost homeless so many times, trying to raise those girls as a young mom. And now I'm successful. Financial success now does not mean financial success. There's such a bigger definition to it, but at the time, that's what I thought was big and the best. And that was right around becoming a single mom. And over those next few years, not only did I lose my business, did I lose the $1 million that I had made and earned and worked very, very hard for. Put myself in a position where I was opened up to prescription pills. And because I had already struggled with drinking and smoking, I hadn't done drugs in over 10 years. I definitely got that out of my life by the age of 18. But all I can look back now is I knew it just wasn't right. I knew I shouldn't have done it, but I just kept doing it. And I was convicted, but I wasn't convicted enough, and I wasn't, at a level as a believer to understand how much Jesus loved me. This actually happened right after I became a believer. So all around that time where I was losing my business, it was going down, lost $1 million. A couple years prior, a lot of the reason why I was losing my business was because of frivolous spending, and it was because of prescription pills. And I got myself so tied up and so addicted to them that I had to withdraw at least, I'd say, 10 times. And then I relapsed, that many times. And I was going on and off. My whole life was a disaster. My emotions were up and down. I lost my reputation. I lost friendships. I hurt people. I lied. I did things that I never thought I would do. And it broke my life. The addiction broke my life, and it's a disease, guys. It is a disease, and I have such a compassion for it. I know people who have been in it. I know people very close to me that have been in it, and I used to judge them. And now I know I have such a compassion for what people go through with addictions, especially to drugs. And I will tell you right now, if you have somebody in your life that is going through something like that, please don't judge them. Do not enable them, but do not judge them, and be the best support you can be and the way you can, even if you can't be directly in their life. Let them know you love them. Let them know that God loves them, because I will tell you, it can become hell on earth. I was in such a dark place that I had no idea who I was. I would look in the mirror and I was a ghost. I was a ghost. And I truly feel that this part of my life was the place where God really stepped in and took hold of me. He took a hold of me, because not only was I going through this, but in midst of that, I get a call from my family, and my 25-year-old sister passes away. She passes away. They call me, they say she hasn't breathed for 20 minutes, that she's on life support. Thank God I got to have a couple days with her, even though she really wasn't here, or there was no mental activity at all, but God blessed me with those days. But gosh, guys, we judge so much, and I was one of those people. We judge so much, and we hurt, and we condemn when everybody is going through something. And at that time in my life was a complete mess, guys. On the outside, it looked great. Everything looked great. I made it that way. I covered everything up like it was hunky-dory. Everything was good. I was always happy. But inside, I was dying. I was depressed. I was anxious. I was worried. I was broken. I was lost. Every day I dealt with heartache and hardship. And watching my sister pass, I don't know. I can't even share with you there are no words for this type of pain. There are no words for having to go through those things. And after I lost everything, literally in a place where not only my sister passed away, my family's a mess, of course, because we lost her. I'm still on and off of pills. I'm a single, it was incredibly, incredibly hard to pull out of the darkness. And the only way I got out was because of God and Jesus. That was the only way. He pulled me out of that mutt and that mire, guys. He pulled me out. He made circumstances happen. He made things happen to pull me out of that state, to get me into a place with my family, to get me into a place where I would be completely clean. He freed me from every addiction. I did not do this. He freed me from smoking, from drugs, from drinking excessively. He literally pulled me out of the mutt and mire. And I will tell you right now, not only did he free me of those things, he healed my family. He brought in joy and peace and happiness after the death of my sister, bringing in my niece, who is just absolutely beautiful, healing our entire family. He healed me from the inside out. Every little darkness, and I'm still a work in progress, but literally I am happy. I'm full of peace and joy. No matter what is coming my way, I can handle it. And I can handle it calmly and with peace and with his love in my heart. I love myself fully for the first time in my life. I love myself the way God loves me. And this is all because of Jesus. This is all because when I had to be pulled out of that mud and that mire, he dragged me. He dragged me out of that state back home. I opened up that Bible. I every single day did everything to the best of my power with what I had at that moment, the strength I had through Christ to change, to transform, and he transformed every part of my heart, mind, soul, and spirit. And I will tell you that we all have this opportunity. Not only have all of these incredible things happened, but I'm opening up an online ministry. He took all of these dreams that I thought I had, all these things I had to be. He positioned me in a place where I could testify his grace and his love. This is the last place I thought I would be. I went from broken, lost, completely depressed every single day, in such darkness that I never felt loved. Feeling always gossiped about and always left out, and feeling jealousy and feeling all of these mixed emotions all of the time about who I was and what people thought of me, and caring so much about that. And now, honestly, I do not care. I care what God thinks of me. And I love that Jesus has filled me, literally filled me, and overflowed my life with his love and his abundance. That I don't need anything but him. And I will tell you right now, if you are struggling, if you are in a place where you have an addiction, or you have a loss in your life, or you are a single mother, or you are dealing with a broken family, or you're a young woman and you have been hurt multiple times, or you've made decisions like I have, there is freedom. There is freedom in that, and it's in Jesus, and he saved me. Not only did he heal and restore myself, he's done it for my family, for all these people around me. I absolutely know from the depths of my soul, my heart, my spirit, that the choices I make from here on out are to help and serve this world and people in need. I literally have made decisions that I never even thought I would do. I am celibate. I am waiting for marriage. I am saving myself for marriage at the age of 35. These are big things, and they're decisions I never would have made without Jesus. And I feel so whole and so complete that I don't need things of this world, or I don't need a man or a friendship to make me feel valuable, because God does. And that is what I want for you. I want you to know that you're loved. I want you to know that there's happiness. I want you to know that there's peace and joy and contentment in whatever you face. No matter what your past is, you are forgiven. I have been forgiven and I have been redeemed. And this is what I want for others. And this is what my online ministry is. It's about pulling people out of that mutt and mire. It's pulling them out of that darkness into his marvelous light, into his light, his glory. The hope, the faith, the love, the grace that comes from God, from Jesus. Nothing compares to it. Really, the point of all of this and of this video is, number one, I did not want to do this. And I know it was God calling me to do it, because he woke me up today and said, you're going to do this. And I know if he told me 6 months ago, I wouldn't have wanted to. And I know it's because my purpose and God's will for my life is to bring as many as I can into his love, into his guidance, into his arms. And I absolutely believe with every part of my heart, mind, soul, and spirit that that's through Jesus Christ. So either way, if you're a believer, if you're not a believer, I just want you to know that there's hope, that there are people that will love you, that will be there for you. And it is my purpose to help guide others through Christ into a place of freedom, and true peace, and true joy, and true hope, true love. These things can only be done with God. Thank you everyone so much for listening to my story. I know it's a long video, but I'm just truly blessed. I'm blessed to know Jesus. I'm blessed to know God. And I'm just so thankful that He has answered so many prayers and brought in so many miracles into my life. And now it's my turn to pass it along to you. Everybody take care. God bless you. God bless your family. I love you all. Bye-bye.